The global fashion industry is worth over $1 trillion. Styles may change, but one fibre is always in fashion: cotton. It's used in over 70% of clothing, and the world produces over 25 million tonnes of cotton a year. So when it comes to turning cotton into fashion, how do they do it? Downtown Los Angeles. This factory is the largest sewing facility in North America. Around 53 million garments are made here each year. Firing off that much fashion calls for hundreds of kilometres of yarn. That comes from the heart of the Cotton Belt in North Carolina. This is Tuscarora Yarn, the oldest and largest specialty yarn manufacturer in the US. They've been spinning yarns here since Mark Twain spun his, and they produce enough each week to make 5 million t-shirts. Their first problem is that t-shirt yarn needs more than just cotton. To achieve the optimum blend of comfort, durability, elasticity and texture, they use a mix of 3 fibres: polyester, rayon and cotton. But the natural cotton fibres arrive with bits of leaf and dust from the fields still stuck to them. To solve that problem, a series of rollers and blowers open up the fibres and blow them free from the debris. To make yarn, the clean cotton then needs to be mixed with the rayon and polyester fibres. They cascade into the blending machines like a fibrous waterfall. Inside, a wire-covered cylinder acts like a comb, arranging and aligning the fibres, then spitting out 6,500-metre-long coils of grey rope called sliver. But as Vice President of Sales and Marketing Andy Long explains, you wouldn't hitch your wagon with this.
Sliver has very little strength. It pulls apart very easily. The only thing holding this together is the cohesion of the fiber.
Cohesion or not, the sliver is far too weak to make a t-shirt. The solution is a process called roving, reinforcement with a twist. Dangling locks of sliver are pulled through an assault course of wheels and rollers, which gently pull fibres apart, then twist them together. The result is leaner, stronger thread.
You start elongating, pulling the fibers apart a little bit, adding some twist so that you can take it from about the size of a broomstick to the size of a pencil.
It's now strong enough to make yarn. The thread is wound onto bobbins, which are loaded onto a monster spinning frame. In the old days, spinning wheels usually had one bobbin. This handles 1,080. It twists the strands of pencil-thin thread, adding strength and spinning them into fine yarn, and it's a bit faster than dear old Granny. The finished yarn is then wound onto cones, each weighing 2.5 kilograms. Ready for a 3-day, 4,000-kilometre road trip across the continent to the Los Angeles factory. This is the biggest clothing manufacturer in the US, and they produce over 25 million t-shirts a year. The problem is the yarn they receive from the North Carolina cotton mill is so fine, it's impossible to thread by hand. The answer is a compressed air gun, which fires the yarn straight into the knitting machine. 108 threads make a spider's web, which is knitted into a circular tube of fabric by 1,620 tiny needles. The t-shirts made here are available in 52 different colours, so next the fabric needs to be dyed. The trouble is the fabric is a mix of polyester, rayon and cotton. Each reacts differently to dye. A big challenge for plant manager Danny Farina.
We dyed in 2 different baths at 2 different temperatures because the fibers are completely different. Polyester has to dye a higher temperature, which is 265 Fahrenheit, is 130 Celsius. And the rayon and cotton dyes at 140 Fahrenheit, which is 60 Celsius.
The dyed fabric is fed into a giant dryer. The trouble is, temperatures in the drying section reach 160 degrees Celsius, which could shrink the fabric faster than delicates in a tumble dryer. The solution is to pin the edges to a frame called a tenter to retain the fabric's shape during drying. Finally, it's bagged up and ready to be transformed into a t-shirt. Across town, at this 74,000 square metre sewing factory. Rolls of fabric arrive at the cutting room, but before they can cut them, they need a pattern, called a marker. Each t-shirt is made up of 6 pieces: front, back, 2 sleeves, collar and neck tape. Every batch is mapped out on computer like a giant jigsaw. This marker has 1,600 pieces. Following the digital pattern, a high-speed cutter takes minutes to slice through the fabric for hundreds of t-shirts, which is sent to the sewing floor. On a busy day, this factory whirs, buzzes and clunks to the sound of over 3,000 machines. Each worker specialises in one operation. It takes a team of 13 to turn out a t-shirt. Orchestrated by President of Manufacturing, Marty Bailey.
You can think of it as the relay team. You know, we want an operator to run as fast as she can through her portion of the race, but when it's time to hand off, then she gives it to the next operator exactly when, where, and how she needs it so that she can run too.
And this relay team are well rewarded for working at lightning fast speed.
All of our teams here, they're paid by the piece. It's incentive pay. So for every piece that this team completes in a box, everyone in the team will earn a certain amount of money.
It's an Olympian effort. Machinists work like Usain Bolt with a sewing machine, then pass the fabric baton to the next station. Each shirt flies through quality control and crosses the finish line in just 2 minutes. The result? These workers have become the highest paid machinists in the world. At the end of each shift, totals are totted up and the day's pay announced. All that's left is to export the t-shirts to stores all over the globe.